Sports on 32 FM 94.9.
After the tactics comes the play.
What's he going to do? Oh!
After the play comes the goal.
Could be the match winner from Lionel Messi. Ronaldo! Aguero, they'll do it. It's a terrific goal.
After the goal comes the uproar. It's sports on 32 FM 94.9.
All right, good morning, sports lovers. Welcome to Scoreboard in 15 right here on your laughter station, 32 FM 94.9. It's a beautiful Monday morning, 26th day of January 2026. My name is OLORUNTOBA. We've got update for you in the English Premier League, where Michael Carrick made it 2 wins in 2. The first one, of course, was a 2-0 victory in the Manchester Derby against Manchester City at Old Trafford. And yesterday, he beat the table toppers Arsenal 3-2 at the Emirates Stadium for the first time and in the first victory for the Red Devils since Jose Mourinho was in charge at Old Trafford. Also, still to come on the show, weekend to remember for Nigerian players across Europe. Awoniyi ending his 348-day goal drought in a 2-0 victory for Nottingham Forest. Also, Akko Adams continuing its fine form as he converted from the sport to give Sevilla a 2-1 victory against Bilbao. Peter Omo is here with me this morning. Peter, great to have you. Good morning.
Thank you for having me, Toba.
Certainly. Of course, let's quickly start off the show with the Australian Open this morning, where Novak Djokovic had a walkover against his opponent after he withdrew from the competition. Jessica Pegula also defeated her close friend Madison Keys to end the Australian Open title defense. We also saw Naomi Osaka pulling out of that tournament as well due to an injury. And as we speak right now, Inglis against Iga Swiatek is currently on at the moment in the women's singles. Peter.
Yeah, this week, Toba, is going to be the week where the boys will have to go home. This is the second week of the first Grand Slam for the year 2026. And like you said, the top guys are moving on.
Yeah.
Carlos Alcaraz, Yannick Sinner, and interestingly, Novak will have to... There's no point for him holding the racket today because he's got that walkover against his opponents.
Yeah.
So looking pretty good. Same of the same for the men and for the women. But, you know, when you have two ladies coming from America play in the last few hours, you want to say who's going to get this one. Jessica Pegula got the job done in 2 straight sets. And, of course, Amanda Anisimova in the last few hours also got that game also done. Another American girl moving through. So Elena Rybakina got the job done as we speak right now. From world number 1, the poll, 𝐂𝐲𝐶𝐃 is on court, where she currently leads against Inglis in the first game of the opening set, Toba.
Certainly, of course, a lot to expect in the Australian Open there. As Peter said, Alcaraz and Djokovic have already moved on to the next round. Yannick Sinner is in action as well. The game is in the third set, actually.
He won the 2 opening sets, 6-1, 6-3.
Yes, certainly. Okay, quickly, let's leave the Australian Open and move on to the Nigeria Professional Football League, NPFL, where we saw action over the weekend. Enugu Rangers delivering a commanding performance to ease to a 4-2 victory with Gordon Obaje scoring a brace against Wolves in match 22 of the NPFL. That victory, of course, elevated Rangers into the top 4 on 36 points, overtaking Ikorodu City. Also, Nasarawa United produced a stunning turnaround to give Abia Warriors their first defeat at home this season, 10-2-1 in favour of the away side. Elsewhere, Shooting Stars Peter secured a 1-0 victory against Bendel Insurance in Ibadan. I was asking you who you were cheering on when we met on Friday, but you said we were behind Bendel. This time, Shooting Stars were able to end Insurance's 9-game unbeaten run with Kamara Adegoke scoring in the 71st minute to give the Oluyole Warriors that victory at the weekend.
16 goals across 8 venues. We'll get to see one more later today. Remo Stars play against Kud Khalifa in the Ijebu-Ode. Rivers, don't forget, we're on the continent, so they have their game being moved to another day. We'll get to the CAF Champions League at a point in time. So I think for the league, 16 points as we speak. But the fact is that Rivers United, not playing this weekend, still sit top of the table with a game to go. So you probably look at it and say, it might just be going Port Harcourt. They almost got the league last season. You know what happened. Remo Stars end up winning the league. Finidi George might just be going for a second title after I won with AEM by a few years ago. It might just be this one going to River. But interesting games like you talked about them. A bit of them left it a bit late. But the big one has to be Rangers winning by 4-2 in that game. And of course, the shock will have to be Nasarawa United going away from home.
Against Abia Warriors.
So for me, it's a good one for the weekend for Shooting Stars. It's pushing again for a continental place. We saw that under Benga Ogumbote. Never worked out. Maybe under this new management, they might just be finding their way to play continental football. But it was a big win against the Insurance of Benin on Sunday in Ibadan.
All right, let's quickly go to the CAF Champions League. Continental Club football there. Mamelodi Sundowns and Al Ahly played out a 2-2 draw. Al Ahly now defeated Young African 2-0. It was a barren draw between Power Dynamos and Rivers United, Peter, at the weekend, the CAF Champions League.
Yeah, Rivers United got 1 point after they didn't do well in the first 2 opening games. Now they will be looking for the return leg against the Zimbabwe side this weekend. If they do get a win in that one, they'll go 4 points. But it doesn't look pretty good at the moment that Rivers might secure a place out of the group stage of this year's CAF Champions League.
All right, in the CAF Confederations Cup as well at the weekend, Wydad defeated Mainama Union 1-0, while Al-Mazri and Zamalek played out a barren draw in that one. USM Algiers defeated Joliba FC by 2-0. Quickly, before we join John Wilkinson for an update from the BBC Sports Centre, the African table tennis powerhouses, Nigeria and Egypt, to find out their opponent at the 2026 ITTF World Table Tennis Championship later today, as a draw will be held. Of course, they lead the Continents Challenge at the tournament scheduled to take place from the 20th of April to the 10th of May 2026. Are we looking to see Aruna Quadri in action again, Peter, in this World Table Tennis Championship?
These are the powerhouse when it comes to African table tennis. Egypt and Nigeria is always Nigeria number 1, Egypt number 2. At the point in time, to switch to Egypt number 1, Nigeria number 2. But wait to see how all of this will pan out. You mentioned one name who has become a household name when it comes to table tennis on the continent.
Yeah.
Aruna Quadri for how long, Toba?
That's $1 million question. All right, let's quickly switch to the BBC Sports Centre, get some English Premier League update from John Wilkinson.
BBC Premier League update from the home of Premier League football.
Hello, I'm John Wilkinson at the BBC Sports Centre. Arsenal have lost in the Premier League for the first time in 8 games. They went down 3-2 at home to Manchester United, with Matheus Cunha scoring the winner just minutes after the Gunners thought they had salvaged a draw. Let's hear from the two bosses, Mikel Arteta, but first, Michael Carrick.
That's where we've got to be as a group. You know, we've got to be greedy. We want more of this feeling. We've got to keep our feet on the ground and understand why we've had these results and what it's going to take moving forward to keep improving and keep pushing.
We weren't at the standards that we need to win a match like this against this United team. And 3 days ago we were incredible in Milan, and today we weren't that. But make sure that we don't forget how incredible these players are, the joy that are giving us all season.
It means both Manchester City and Aston Villa are just 4 points behind the league leaders Arsenal now. Villa earlier won away at Newcastle for the first time in over 20 years with the final score 2-0. Chelsea got a 3-1 win at 10-man Crystal Palace, after which the Palace boss Oliver Glasner tried to put a brave face on decisions which he felt had gone against his side.
I think with a few moments where everything looked to be on our side, and just remember the FA Cup final, to be honest. Dean could have sent off with a red card and the penalty, and then now we are facing the opposite.
Nottingham Forest won 2-0 at Brentford, and they're now 5 points above the relegation zone. In Monday night's game, Everton host Leeds. And for more football news from the BBC, go to bbc.com/football.
BBC Premier League update from the home of Premier League football.
Many thanks, John Wilkinson, for that update from the English Premier League. As you heard him, Peter, a huge loss for Arsenal at the Emirates last night against Manchester United. 2 wins and 2 for Michael Carrick. Talk to me about Michael Carrick very quickly and what this loss means to Arsenal. Little bump on the road or a big dent on their title hopes?
You know what? I'll first start by saying that give him the job. Give Michael Carrick the job. Let him have the job on a full-time basis. Yeah. And he's got a good support team. You have Steve Holland. At the point in time, he was assistant coach to Gareth Southgate in England, also an assistant coach at Chelsea. You have Jonathan Woodgate, who was a fantastic defender during his days with Newcastle, but didn't get it to work out for him at Real Madrid. So I think it's got a good backup. And what a win for him against 2 teams who are pushing for the league. First, you thought City was a fluke. Yes. Yesterday wasn't a fluke, Toba. Yeah. Yesterday wasn't about Arsenal for me. It has to do with how United came into that game and how they got maximum point. Now, you mentioned about dent or no dent. I think it probably be a wake-up call for Arsenal. 4 points separating them from City. They had the chance a few weeks ago to extend the league. They never did. Against Liverpool, against Nottingham Forest, they never got a win in those games. And for City, their job was done easily on Saturday where they won against Wolves. And of course, we saw what happened with Villa going to St. James's Park, won there in first time in a long time. So it proves that this league is not about 2 horse races. 3 horse will probably want to say, although Unai have said many times that he's not going for the league, just want to finish in a respectable position and see where that would take Villa to. So Toba is a good one. We wait to see. It's 4 points. I was just saying last week it might probably extend to 11 or 7, but I like it. I like a photo finish. I don't like a league where the leaders is having his 10-11 point gap. I want something close that will see us watch the game week in, week out. So for England, it's still 4 points, and of course, you know how it's all happened in the other leagues in Germany, in Italy, in Spain. We'll get to that.
We'll get to that definitely. And I just wanted to quickly touch on this one. Taiwo Awoniyi coming back in action, ending that goal drought over 300 days. Of goal drought for him, being on the score sheet for Nottingham Forest, getting that 2-0 victory at the weekend.
You also have to mark that the man was also out for a long time.
Yes.
Being part of the Super Eagles team that went to the AFCON, and we will have to stay back in Nottingham Forest to get him, good and well. But I was a bit surprised yesterday when I saw him came on board. But don't forget also to talk about that. Luca Tony is joining Nottingham Forest from Napoli on a season loan. So you probably say, where would that put our own Taiwo Awoniyi, because they've got Hugo Jesus, the Brazilian who's scoring. They've also got Chris Wood, has been out injured for a while. So I don't know how that will put Taiwo Awoniyi in the pecking order. But it was good for him to score yesterday, so kind of give Sean Dyche some good headache.
Definitely. All right, let's go to the Spanish La Liga. As I mentioned, this man can't just stop scoring, Peter. A few weeks after the AFCON, back on the score sheet again. Scored a brace last weekend. Another goal, this time from the spot kick against Bilbao. 2-1 victory for Sevilla. Ako Adams again.
Yeah, I wish we can have more games for the Super Eagles. I wish we can have AFCON extended and see how this boys fare. But it was good for him. See him go back to Seville, score, and of course against Scotland yesterday. So it goes to show that Sevilla have really missed him. And I hope he can keep scoring the goals week in, week out. Good for him, form-wise, and see what happens this summer. Because if he keeps scoring the goals, the heavyweight in Spain or away from Spain can just come for him. Don't forget to just join them from Montpellier in the French League on just a few months ago. And now that he's scoring the goals, expect some of these clubs to come calling in the next few months.
All right, in the Spanish La Liga as well, Kylian Mbappe's got a brace again. Villarreal losing at home to Real Madrid 2-0. Another win on the road for Arbeloa.
Another win for him. He's been in charge for a few games. Won heavily in the UEFA Champions League game just last week, and away from home to the Yellow Submarine. Excited that they don't usually do the double against. But this is the one. This time around, they've done the double against the Yellow Submarine, and Kylian Mbappe was on hand to score the 2 goals for them.
All right, Atletico Madrid defeated Mallorca 3-0, while Barcelona beat Oviedo 3-0 as well. Quickly, Peter, just one word in the Italian Serie A. 3-0 victory for Juventus against Napoli. Huge one for Juve, and of course Roma and Milan playing out a 1-1 draw.
I think the big one will have to be Inter Milan on Friday night beating Pisa. Came from a 2-goal down to win by 6-2. Like I said, Toba, if they win that game on Friday, they don't care what Napoli and Juventus do. They don't care what Roma and AC Milan does. And their job was done on Saturday. So I think the biggest winner here will have to be Inter Milan. And for Napoli, it's a setback for Conte. Go back to the drawing board. But the good thing, Toba, was that Lukaku was back playing football after quite a long time on the touchline. All
right, thank you so much, Peter, for doing this with me. Don't forget to join the Scoreboard crew later this afternoon, 3:30 p.m. for Scoreboard Reloaded. My name is OLORUNTOBA Yusuf.